Before fire, the world was silent stone and cold wind, and survival was only instinct. A small tribe struggles against hunger as the earth refuses to give warmth. Night falls fast, and darkness becomes an enemy no one can fight. A sudden storm drives them deeper into despair, freezing their fragile world. One among them begins to observe something greater in nature's chaos. Lightning strikes the forest, leaving behind a strange glowing ember. The tribe fears it, believing it is a curse from the unseen world. But hunger and cold force them to stay near the dangerous glow. For the first time, warmth pushes back the endless freezing dark. The tribe watches as survival begins to change before their eyes. Food meets flame, and the first transformation of survival begins. Smoke rises into the sky, carrying proof of a new power. Fear fades, replaced by cautious understanding and control. The fire becomes both weapon and protection against the night. Nearby shadows of predators retreat from the growing light. The tribe begins to gather around the fire as their new center of life. What was once fear becomes the foundation of survival itself. And in that moment, humanity's first control over nature is born. Fire no longer belonged to fear. It became a tool that shaped every waking moment. The tribe now gathers around fire not in panic, but in dependence. With warmth secured, survival shifts from reaction to planning. The same fire that once scared them now becomes the center of control. Food preparation begins to change what the tribe can endure. Cooked food brings strength where once there was only exhaustion, but fire demands constant attention, or it disappears without mercy. The first lesson of fire is control or loss. Through repetition, the tribe begins to understand its fragile balance. Fire becomes a shared responsibility, not a single miracle. At night, the fire holds back fear that once ruled everything. Even sleep becomes possible, guarded by burning light. But distant storms remind them how small their control still is. Fire is no longer discovery. It is responsibility under threat. The tribe strengthens the fire, learning to protect what they created. What began as fear becomes the first shared system of survival. The tribe is no longer reacting to nature. They are beginning to shape it. And in that glow, humanity takes its first step beyond survival into control. Fire is no longer confined to one place. It begins to travel with the tribe. For the first time, light moves across the land like a living force. Dark valleys that once swallowed life are now briefly revealed. The tribe learns that fire does not only protect, it guides movement. New paths are carved through darkness that once felt endless. But carrying fire demands constant protection from wind and night. A single mistake could return them to total darkness. Control over fire becomes a skill learned through repetition. The tribe begins sharing fire between hands, not just guarding it. What was once singular becomes collective strength. At night, the land no longer feels infinite and empty, but new dangers emerge from beyond the light's reach. Fire becomes both shield and signal against the unknown. The tribe now understands fire can connect them across distance. Communication begins without words, only flame and timing. Fire spreads not just across land, but across understanding. What began as survival becomes a network of shared control. And in its spread, fire stops being an invention. It becomes a world reshaped. As fire spreads, so does its demand, and nothing powerful remains without cost. The forest that once gave freely begins to disappear under constant need. Fire grows stronger, but the land grows weaker. The tribe begins to argue over what feeds the flames. For the first time, survival creates division within the tribe. Fire still gives warmth, but it now demands sacrifice from nature. The first signs of scarcity begin to change human behavior. What once felt endless is now measured and controlled. The tribe learns that fire does not only protect, it consumes. Even the night feels different when resources begin to vanish. The balance between light and land becomes fragile. Some begin to question whether fire is still a gift. But without fire, the tribe remembers what darkness truly costs. So they continue, even as the world around them changes forever. Fire becomes both salvation and slow transformation of the world itself. The tribe no longer lives within nature. They reshape it with every flame. What was once discovery has become irreversible change. And in the end, fire does not just save humanity, it reshapes everything it touches. If you enjoy watching, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you for watching!